Okay, welcome back to the channel, guys. So I had a little bit of an issue. I broke this fuel pressure sensor. If you guys do have this installed on your vehicle, make sure you don't bump into this or knock it with your arm like I did, or this will start leaking. What happened was an O-ring popped out. Show it to you guys. And that came out. So it tore, it distorted, and I had fuel spraying all over the engine bay. So I did contact Cobb. They were really cool about it, and they're gonna go ahead and replace it out of goodwill. It's not really their responsibility or anything like that, but I'm very grateful that they're at least willing to hear me out and, you know, help me in this situation. The other part I wanted to show you guys is the fuel pump hardwire. You need to actually bypass the stock connector, and I actually am using the iWire bypass stud kit right here, guys. This is really cool. This actually, you drill into your fuel pump hanger. This provides the power, goes directly to your fuel pump, so you're not messing with any wiring into your stock fuel pump wiring. The problem with that is you're going to be running 12 gauge wire from the battery. If that goes straight into your, you know, when it's operating, it's actually at like 14 or close to 14 volts. So when you go through, you know, stock wiring and things, it's not meant to handle the amperage, especially when running larger pumps. And you have a chance of burning down your connectors or melting your connectors and starting a fire. So I wanted to avoid that, and I'm going to be using this kit to do that. We're going to go out to the car. I'll show you guys the other part of the kit, which is the DW hardwire kit. And that's going to help me run a ground to a relay, power to a relay, and straight off the battery into the fuel pump using this little kit right here. So yeah, I wanted to share this with you guys because I haven't seen any FA20 DIT write-ups or videos on this. So with the help of Brian over at iWire, Ron Watson, my tuner, and myself, we're gonna try to throw out a video here, and hopefully this can help all of you guys. Okay guys, I was gonna show you at the car, however it's raining outside, so I'm going to just bring it on inside here. This is the next step of the fueling upgrade for my car. It's the DW Fuel Pump Hardwire kit. It's basically going to allow me to run the power from the battery direct to the fuel pump and actually bypassing our OEM fuel pump controller. Our OEM fuel pump controller limits the power, and there's some thoughts that on these upgraded fuel pumps that we are running in tank, when you're limiting power like that or limiting the voltage to it, it's not going to flow at 100%. So it's basically a pretty simple relay. It's a black wire, yellow wire, blue wire, and a red wire. One's ground to relay, one's power to the pump, switch to relay, and then one's power from the battery. So everything's fairly labeled out. And again, I'm going to be using the fuel pump stud kit that's from iWire. So that way I'm not actually going to be cutting into the OEM connectors or anything like that, or wiring into the OEM connectors so I don't melt any lines or start a fire. I have the car apart, and you guys will have to get your fuel pump all kind of removed in this area. I wanted to take a look at the connector here. As you guys can see, it's insulated connector, so you cannot back probe at this location. However, I was able to take and trace this wire back. As you guys can see, this harness here, and that leads to the back of the car. Right here, guys. So the back of the car is where the fuel pump controller is. As you guys can see, there is a red and black wire there. I was back probing using my multimeter here, and I found out that is where the power from the battery is coming to. So that little silver box right there, a little closer, guys, that is your fuel pump controller. So your power comes from the battery. There's ground. I believe there's, you know, wiring for your fuel level sensor. But what happens with this box is this little unit right here, the fuel pump controller, it limits your voltage. Car's on, guys. One thing I did notice, if you ever have your covering in your seat off, you can really hear your aftermarket fuel pumps here. So that's something to consider. Okay.
show you guys my multimeter works. Wrong way. There we go. 14.6 volts out of my battery here. I am using a lightweight battery. This is an Odyssey PC680. So this is basically when the car is on, that's how much volts are coming through. We take you to the back of the car. Okay, I will go ahead and ground it to this bolt right here that's next to it. And as you guys can see, I'm gonna go ahead and back probe it, guys. There you go. Okay, can you guys see that? It's 13.81 volts. That's actually going from the battery to this fuel pump controller. So I lost a little bit on the way from 14 volts down to a little bit. However, what the problem here is, if this fuel pump controller drops the voltage down any further, your AEM or DW pump that you guys have in tank is not operating at 100%. So, you know, it's kind of up to the logic of this box here on how much fuel delivery there is or how much percent duty cycle the fuel pump is having. But we wanted to kind of bypass that and also test out that a couple of other fuel mods here for the F820 WRX. So let's go ahead and throw this hardwire kit in with the iWire stud bypass kit so I don't mess with my OEM connector. And yeah, I'll take you guys along for the install. Okay, welcome back, guys. So this is my fuel pump hanger. This is actually using the AEM 340lph pump. I've been using this pump for a good 30,000 miles or so. You know, plenty of use on E85. However, we're going to go ahead and try something new with this. So we are going to basically hardwire this pump. We're gonna have to go ahead and take this apart, this hanger, and we're gonna have to drill into this top and install what they call a stud bypass kit. So I'm gonna take this inside and I will show you guys exactly how to do that. So I have the fuel pump hanger pretty much disassembled. I'm at the step where I'm gonna have to basically drill a 15/64" size hole basically on this top cover right here, and we're gonna go ahead and install these ring terminals right underneath that. So the stud bypass kit is really cool. It actually helps you bypass this OEM connector, so you're not melting any connectors here using a very high amperage. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the right drill bit, put this stud bypass kit on, and I'm gonna show you guys exactly how this gets wired up. So I have the iWire stud bypass kit installed onto the OEM hanger here. You can go ahead and see that it's pretty simple. They actually provide you a harness that plugs directly into your fuel pump. So that's actually wired up to the two wires underneath. You can see a white wire there and a blue wire there, and it goes through the actual hanger. So you guys can see I made an actual extra hole there, which I'm gonna be plugging up, but it's non-conductive acorn nuts on top, and you actually break those down to another ring terminal, which goes to another jumper harness that ties into your hardwire kit. So pretty cool little kit if you want to not reuse your OEM connector, which is highly advised against if you're going to be running a large fuel pump and running a 100%, you do have a chance with the higher amperage, it could burn down or melt your conductors. So I'm gonna go ahead and install this back onto the car, and I'll show you guys how this works. You have to make sure that these are matching on the bottom here. So if you have the blue wire on the bottom, make sure that the top terminal is also a blue wire. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this into the car. I'm just gonna go ahead and time lapse that real quick, guys, because you guys know how to put a fuel basket right back into the car. But yeah, so we'll go ahead and continue.
This is G House. This is G House. This is G House. This is G House.
Welcome back, guys. So I am in a little bit of a pickle. So after the hardwire, car will not start. Let me show you guys what I mean. Nothing. And also my fuel sender unit is also not reading properly. So this has me probably thinking it's a ground related issue because the iWire kit shares that ground off the pump ground. So yeah, I'll see what I'm supposed to do here, guys. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Wow, this fuel pump wire was a headache. Huge thanks to Mike Dunn on Facebook. He's actually walked through me through this wiring process, and it was a nightmare. The car wasn't running for like 3 days, guys. So yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and run over the setup, the routing. So for anyone else that's planning to do this, it is a pretty involved job, and you're messing with wiring on your fuel pump. So you do have the possibility of your car just not running, period. So let's go ahead and start. The relay is actually located in the back. So what it is it's a Bosch 4-pin relay that you guys see right there. Basically, four wires. You're gonna basically get 12-volt power to that relay directly from that battery. And that's the red wire that you guys see right there. The red wire, it's going all the way to the front, down this way. Show you guys where. You guys can also see that the red wire is right there. Going along this panel. Goes all along in there. It's all under this. I'm not gonna take this all apart. Then I crossed it over and into the driver's side. I actually used the same grommet that I used for the methanol injection kit, guys. So, I don't know if I can get all the way down there, but see that hole, guys? That is where the wire, the red power wire, is feeding out through. And as you guys can see, snakes out right here. I will clean it up a little bit with Tesla tape, which I really love. And it's basically has the inline fuse holder, and it's right off the positive battery terminal. So running the power wire was pretty tough, but the issue wasn't there for me. That's not what was causing my car not to start. Believe it or not, if you guys are doing this, make sure you have good ground points, guys. And I can't stress that enough. I was actually chasing my tail because if you guys look, the unit is actually grounded right there at the bottom. That's okay and dandy. However, I also grounded the pump behind this. The problem with that is this bracket that the fuel pump controller is on, it's non-conductive. So that wouldn't work. And yeah, that was causing all sorts of problems. The pump was intermittently firing on, but it was getting all the power. So just wanted to share that with you guys. All of that is actually running down here, guys. You guys look up here. That is the iWire stud bypass kit. goes down into the fuel door. I did show you guys earlier in the video that install of the stud bypass kit. So yeah, that's it for this. I'm just gonna do a couple of logs for the tuner. Yeah, but thank you for watching, guys. This is a pretty involved process, but if you guys kind of, you know, take it slow, work out a wiring diagram first, you know, you guys should be fine.
What is up, guys? I wanted to go ahead and explain some of the wiring here at the relay, since a lot of guys had questions on that. The red wire right there is actually the power wire, which you guys saw earlier in the video, that runs all the way to the front of the battery. So when your car is on, it shoots like what, 14 plus volts directly into that wire. So that's why it's a 12 gauge wire all the way through. The yellow wire is actually a power wire that goes to the pump. So basically this relay will switch the power from the red wire. There's a little magnetic, you know, coil inside the relay, and it'll click and it'll shoot the power into the yellow wire. And that yellow wire goes to the positive post of the pump. The black wire that you guys see, which is kind of looped around like this, and it's actually onto the chassis ground down there, that one is basically the ground for the relay. The blue wire is actually the trigger wire, and that actually connects, guys, down here, all the way down here at your fuel pump. There is a harness on the body side. You just unclip it there and just peel back some of the tape. You'll see a green and yellow wire, guys. That is the trigger wire, which you hook up to that. That basically tells the relay to click on. And it actually comes off of the fuel pump controller. So the good thing is, if your car is ever rolled over or anything like that, the fuel pump will stop. It won't keep flowing and things like that. So it is more of a safety thing. So you can do it, wire it directly from like an ignition source. But again, that just means fuel pump will just be flowing and flowing if you ever in a rollover accident. So yeah, something to note, guys. And yeah, thanks for watching.